It's Monday. Happy Monday. Some Mondays are very much let's get up, let's work out, let's have all of our protein and do all the things. And some Mondays we are making the train on time, getting a double coffee, and devouring a croissant. And today is the latter. That's okay. That is okay. We have a big week, have a lot to get accomplished. The wonderful thing about in-person events like last week is it's great. It's networking. It's essential. It's great for the mind, body, soul, and network as well. But you get a little behind. So today we're definitely playing catch up. On that note, something I talked about last week, and I really want to dive into it a little bit more with some data this week, is the barbell. So this is really applying to my role, which is much more distribution, communication. There's maybe some marketing sprinkled in there, sales, a little bit of everything. But basically how we're crossing, we should probably pay attention. But basically how the middle is getting collapsed. So doing everything in a generic way is definitely not where we're moving. So we're moving to the two different extremes, which is one end is automation using AI, and on the other end of the barbell is the in-person and the live analog relationship extreme, because we're getting tired. We're getting tired of AI and the 30-second clips and slop, and every LinkedIn post can look and feel the same. And so the differentiation is the moat. So as I am saying that I need to catch up on the output that maybe didn't get maximized last week as there was so much in-person time, I was thinking, really think about if you removed the output of what you do every day, if there's nothing left, then you've lost your moat. Removing the output, whatever's left, that is your moat. So if that is your judgment, your taste, relationships, trust, that is the moat. And so that's something I am thinking a lot about lately, just looking at the future of the technology and how it's going to impact our day-to-day. And so anytime I feel overwhelmed or I feel like, hey, I didn't get as much accomplished, I kind of keep that in mind as well. So all that to say, let's grab some lunch. Also, I have an event tomorrow. It's an ETP, exchange traded product event, so quite specific. Niche in finance, but I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I can bring you along and provide a little value from that as well. So let's go grab lunch, which is going to be a matcha, I believe. So here we go. Good morning. It's Tuesday. We are getting ready to attend a one-day conference here in the city today. And on my commute in this morning, I was doing a little preparation, and I thought I would share some of that with you today in case it's helpful. So as with anything that you're doing with AI, the more context, the more information, the more connections that you provide, the better your output. And so at the very least, if you're going to a conference, make sure that you drop the link in an LM and say, hey, I'm attending this with what you know about me. What's the best use of my time? Are there any contacts that I should connect with, etc.? That would be like bare bones, bare minimum. Very little context here. So probably the max, which is what I was actually working with today, is for one, when I set up Claude Cowork and really any tool that you're using, provide as much context about yourself in the beginning as possible. So there's an About Me MD file. Basically, it's a file with everything about you. It includes what my current position is, what company I'm with, what my goals are over the next 6 months, 12 months, short-term, long-term. It knows everything about me. Maybe too much. Anyway, so that's the base. And then we've also included connections. So it's connected to my CRM, HubSpot, connected to my email, sort of. It's through the browser, but it can access email as well. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So this morning I say, hey, go to my CRM, check my email. Most of those emails and contacts and conversations have made it into CRM, but in case they haven't, sometimes some things just don't. They slip through the cracks. So I specifically asked, check my CRM, HubSpot, check my email in case there's information that hasn't made it into the CRM, everything that you know about me, and here's the link to the agenda. What's the best way to maximize my time here to meet my goals? And let it do its thing. And it very well will give you, hey, this sponsor will be there, maybe you should connect to them, see if they have a booth, this person's speaking, make sure to attend this keynote at 12:30. It looks like, 2 weeks ago, someone asked if you were attending this conference, make sure you connect with them, etc. So that's before, that's in preparation. Now again, once you get there, I'm all about like the organic, the vibe. Make sure that you're just using that as a guide, but make sure that you're just going with the flow as well. I think that's always extremely important because sometimes just, walking around the sponsorship hall, or maybe it's just like bumping into somebody, or, taking a look at name tags and just making introductions. And sometimes it's just standing in line for the food and you meet someone new, and you never know when that contact is going to be incredibly helpful later, or you might just make a friend or spark up a good conversation. And I think at the end of the day, we're humans, we have to just be human. So that's at the event. During the event, this is where things are getting a little dicey, is I've heard about folks using microphones similar to this one on walking meetings or in-person meetings to take notes, right? So right now I'm using Granola, or you might be using, the Fireflies in Teams or some sort of Zoom meeting notes, and it's taking notes. But if you're having an in-person meeting, you kind of lose that feature. So folks are using a microphone, they're bringing their computers, and they're recording those meetings in person to keep the notes. And people are doing that at conferences. They're keeping their mic on all day. It's basically taking notes of every conversation. It's taking notes of all the keynotes and in the breakout sessions. And you could also speak throughout the day, right? I could just say, hey, also, I just met X. Make sure to follow up in 2 weeks about Y. Sounds extremely, extremely beneficial. Like as I'm talking about it, I'm like, maybe I should do that. But there's just something about it that feels off. Right? Like, would I engage in a conversation if I knew the other person was mic'd up in the same way? Probably, but I don't know. It's just something about it feels off. It's one of those situations where, is it off because it's off and it does change our human interaction, or is it off because it's just something new? Will we all eventually be wearing some AI wearable? Likely. I think I read Facebook is launching some sort of something. It's there. So eventually we're all wearing these wearables and we're talking to our AI, we're telling our agent. It's basically like having a personal assistant, and I could just talk throughout the day, like add this to my calendar, book this flight. Sounds, actually, the more I'm saying it sounds pretty incredible, but there's just, I don't know, something about it just feels off. So we'll see. That's TBD. So while you're at the event, I'll just say while you're at the event, to whatever extent you're comfortable and people around you are comfortable, you could record to take notes. I likely will just use my phone and just add through Dispatch. I'm using Claude Cowork Dispatch, and I have it connected to Notion. So if I have something that I really want to make sure that I note, I'll just say, hey, add this to Notion, or I could say add this to my CRM. Or just put it in your phone, or old school, write it down, whatever works for you. But if you want to really maximize AI, see how you can use the tools to do the work while you're there, so you don't have to go home later or go back to the office later or later in the week to follow up. You can get it done right then. So after the event is over, I think that's really where AI can shine and make your life so much easier, is all of those follow-up emails, to-dos, tasks. You could ask, again, I'm using Claude Cowork, you could do this with OpenClaw, or maybe ChatGPT and others have access to do this as well. I'm not sure. But I'm using Claude Cowork. It can access my email, can create a draft to say I have 10 contacts that I want to follow up with, it could tailor a draft depending on the conversation, maybe what we've talked about in the CRM, what we talked about at the event, if I have any applicable notes, or it could just be like, hey, it was great to see you. Let's try to put something on the calendar in the next few weeks, whatever it might look like. So yeah, I'll check out the drafts and make adjustments as I see fit. Here is a key point that I want to just say stop and take note of this. If you make changes to the output that AI is giving you, make sure and relay that back to AI, right? So if Cloud Cowork has composed a draft email and I'm in the email and I decide to make changes, I always go back and say, hey, I need you to check out the draft and see how I corrected it and take note. And that helps create this memory. Like it's gonna save, you could save this as a skill. I don't wanna get too much in the weeds here, but it can start to learn your style so that you're not consistently making these changes moving forward. It's like a puppy and you want to train it, right? We're training the LLM, we're training the AI model to understand how we communicate. And that makes your life fantastic moving forward, or it's helpful. Yeah, so all to say, I am going to head over to the event. I will be taking off my microphone at this event. I took the furry situation off. I don't think it's really necessary, but I am curious if anyone will have some sort of wearable at this event. I don't know. I don't think we're that far into the cycle yet, at least not in finance in New York. Maybe in the Valley in tech, that might be a little more common. But let me know if this is just me that thinks this is odd. Maybe we're just early. I don't know. And let me know how you're using AI to prepare and get ready for conferences. I think we can ask AI for suggestions, but humans, we're creative. We have original ideas. So curious to hear what your ideas are. Hi. We have lunch and we're headed back to the office. And something wanted to share is today I was having a really embarrassed cringe recording day. Usually I'm like, I'm gonna record some content, we're gonna chat AI, and I have something to say. And while I did have something to share, I was like, I feel foolish, like what am I doing right now? And then put the camera away. I started thinking, and that's what I'm here to share with you now, is something I said earlier this week, and I actually had a conversation with someone in the office about it again today, is thinking about if you were to take your current job and you were to remove all of the output, right? The presentation decks, the emails, if you were to take away all of the output, what's left? And that's your moat, that's your differentiation, that's what makes you you, and that's really the value. So then I'm thinking, why be embarrassed and cringe if you set out to kind of record your experience? And maybe this is helpful for others because there's not anything out there like that. It's challenging you to become better at what you're doing. It pushes me to practice what I preach, to implement some of these tools in my daily workflows. It pushes me to communicate every day about this topic and articulate thoughts, ideas, learnings, and it's making, hopefully, me a better communicator. Hopefully it's sharing maybe a nugget of value to someone who's watching. So, hear it. Stop worrying about it. And in the South, I don't know if Oklahoma, Texas is the South. What do we call that? Maybe like the Great Plains. We say cowboy up, which basically means like pull it together and do the damn thing. Let's go this direction. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, doing a little work on St. Patrick's Cathedral. Oh, it's beautiful. That never really gets old. So yeah, to circle that back to what I was saying earlier, is if you remove all of the extra, all the automated, what's left is, what's left is you. So don't feel embarrassed to put yourself out there and just be yourself, whether that's putting out some sort of content, whatever medium that is, if that's, write a newsletter or share your thoughts or share your expertise, or maybe it's a new hobby, or maybe it's entering a room and you don't know anyone and just being yourself. And so this is just my St. Patrick's Cathedral is really doubling down on that, I suppose. But just be yourself and do the things that scare you. Cowboy up. Hi, it's Thursday. So yesterday made the comment about being yourself and originality and kind of getting over, your self-doubt or self-consciousness. And while that still feels a little woo-woo to some people and a little in the feels, there's actually a lot of data behind that. So 6 years ago, if you were to ask a startup founder, what is the biggest risk to your startup? The answer was engineering talent. So today, more than 70% of founders say that it's something completely different. And now the biggest risk is actually distribution. So I was looking at YC's Winter 2025 batch. It was the first in YC's history where more than half of the accepted founders had an audience of more than 10,000. So they already had an audience built before the company even existed. So hang with me. This ties back to what we were talking about yesterday. So every startup needs distribution. Distribution needs an audience. Audience comes from attention. Attention originates from media. So we're all becoming media companies. Being yourself, being original, putting yourself out there, it's not woo-woo, it's not in the feels. Code has been commoditized. Distribution is now the key. Your audience is like the new cap table. So it's incredibly important to start getting out there, making some kind of unique statement or point of view. The right people, the right audience will gravitate towards that. And keeping in mind that if you're doing something to go viral, again, that's going to get commoditized too, right? If there's a playbook, if there is a plan, if there's a 30-second TikTok or Reel or YouTube Shorts that's catchy and goes viral, that doesn't necessarily establish trust. So I think it's really important to start determining what makes you different and putting that out there, especially if you plan on starting something. If you're a founder, a startup, an entrepreneur, we got to just get over the fears and we got to get out there. So I love this visual because there's probably 1,000 people strolling through right now. It's not that many, right? There's probably 1,000 people that are interested in something that you have to say or your product. So if you don't know what that is yet, get out there, start building an audience. Yeah. All right, let's go find our train. It's Friday, and we are so grateful it's Friday because this is one of those weeks where you're like, surely there's a full moon or something happening, and you check the moon cycle, and Monday was indeed a full moon because it's just, yeah, we made it. We're here. It's great. So I just grabbed a coffee in town. Today's a work from home day, which is nice because I don't have such a long commute, so it's extra time to get up, have coffee. I'm at a library and there's this beautiful outdoor seating area. It's good for the nervous system to just reset and catch up on admin throughout the week, those emails and little minor tasks that you can just get through. So that's my game plan this morning. Something I do love about Fridays, especially since I started this vlog situation, something about vlog feels very like blog 2000s, but I don't really know what else to call it because it's not super flashy tutorial. It's just literally a video documentary of what's going on. So I don't know. We got to rebrand the name of vlog. I don't know what it needs to be, but it's TBD. What I found really helpful is on Friday, I'm really reflecting upon the week. What did I share? What could I do differently? What did I not really make clear? What did I learn? How could I be better? It's really helpful when I start to edit the videos and I realize, ooh, that didn't really make sense. That didn't work. I could have done this better. I don't think I explained this piece correctly. Was that data point correct? So it's a great reflection. So what I'm realizing as we're like week 3 in is that I need to start writing. That to really get your thoughts and facts straight and ideas and to really create some actionable insight, it needs to be written. So something I'm moving towards is maybe that's like LinkedIn or Substack or some other way to take this and translate it over into a written form as well. And I've also reflected on how to really share my experience. Is that written? Is that a longer form video? And again, I'm always looking at the data, and there is really a lot of data to support long form and the future of that and how much it builds a connection because it's a shared human experience. You can really get to know someone in 20, 30 minutes versus, 100 30-second reels. But also for me personally, it's incredibly helpful for just the nervous system. I find when I enter TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, it can be like eating candy and it's overstimulating and you get lost in a loop. And then when you put the phone down, you just feel exhausted or unfulfilled. And as great as that is to maybe grow an audience, you could go viral, you can get a lot of followers, it's very formulaic. There's just something that doesn't fit. I don't want to consume that, so I don't really want to create that. So yeah, while this is maybe an unpopular format right now, and I'm not really focusing on hooks and how to optimize for virality, the key here is really just that shared human experience. I think that's what is going to become more and more valuable as AI becomes part of our lives. There's more and more content. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's not. We used to go to social platforms for information and insights and also to just waste time. But if I needed a tutorial or a place to stay or a restaurant, I might go to Instagram or YouTube for that information, where now I would probably just go to Claude or ChatGPT and say, hey, give me some tips, tricks. This is all the context and give me exactly what fits me. Eventually that would be an agent, right? Eventually our phone, where's my phone? I don't know where my phone is, but eventually I'm just communicating with the agent on my phone and they already have the context about me all the time and they can make those decisions and help out. So what can an agent, an AI not do? It's not in person, it's not human, and it doesn't have that human experience. And that's definitely what I feel. While it's not as popular, it does just feel right. And so while I do need to expand upon written, more so just for my thoughts, if you watched this vlog or really any vlog, you can see that sometimes I can just go off into space and I can circle back and just collecting my thoughts. That's something that I could get better at. And I think writing could really be helpful in that context. Also, I'm learning a lot of different information from different sources, and I want to get my own unique point of view. And so synthesizing all those ideas and my personal experiences and placing that into my own playbook of how I want to approach my job and what I see in the industry and how I see different playbooks kind of getting shredded and those changes happening. If I can provide some insights based on data, but also my own personal experiences and provide those to a community, then I can actually bring value versus me just yapping away each week, which is helpful for me to gather my thoughts, but also I don't want to waste your time. Your time is extremely valuable, and to even be here at this point in this video, or even to be here, however you've landed on this channel, is pretty great. So, and I thank you for that, because all of our time is valuable. And yeah, I just want to make sure that you're getting something from this as well that can help you in your life. And I want to hear from you and your experiences. Like, how has your job changed, your life changed? What are you seeing in your day-to-day? and how is it impacting you, for the better, for the worse? It sounds like vows, for better or for worse. But yeah, with any technology, there's two sides of the coin. And I think that I would love for this to be a two-way conversation, and there's comments. I would love to maybe have live interaction, whether that's some sort of coffee or meetup. I don't know how that's going to look, but I want to create more time for live, real human interaction. Something that happened at my coffee shop today. So I have a regular little coffee shop that I go to here in our town, and they don't allow laptops. The reasoning, I would think from a business standpoint, is they don't want somebody coming in and buying a $5 coffee and just staying all day and using the Wi-Fi. So they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't really allow laptops. And the point of view is that they want to create an environment where there's social connection and low tech for everyone in the space. And I was like, this sounds like we're just washing this with, we're doing it for social matters, but actually we're doing this for business. But I have noticed that going in myself, you see everyone talking and the laptops are put away, and I do get a different just vibe, for lack of better words, when I go to a coffee shop and I walk in and everyone's locked into their computer and I'm just sitting and having a cup of coffee or having a conversation. So yeah, I just wanted to share that human interaction is more important than ever. And back to the first of the week and the barbell, and how I'm definitely a big fan of leading into the automation, AI taking full advantage of that, but also giving equal weight to the other side of the barbell, which is the human piece, and how important that is, and how it's becoming even more important as we kind of bifurcate from the middle and the two extremes become really important. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work now and get caught up. It's nice to go into the weekend inbox. I say inbox zero, but I don't know. It never really gets to totally zero. There's always something popping up. But feel the warm sun on your skin. If there is no sun, then just get outside, take a deep breath, and yeah, and stay curious.